Now I'm going to delete the point light and create another light. So another one, the next one we have is the sunlight. Now the sunlight is basically like your usual sunlight in the real world. But unlike the point light, if you remember, when we moved the point light, the lighting was affected. But when we move the sunlight, the lighting is not affected at all. So it doesn't matter if you place it on top, in the bottom, right, left, it doesn't really matter. What matters with the sunlight is the rotation. Right now the sun is facing down, which is why we don't see any effect, because we don't have any shadows, we don't have any angles, and it looks plain and it looks boring. But now, watch what happens if I press on R and then rotate it. See how it basically lights up the edges of the cube? If I move it here, it's going to light up this side, basically. So I'm going to rotate this in front, and it means that sun is going to go here. It's going to hit these edges, and it's not going to light up these edges, which is why these edges are dark. But if I rotate it here, you can see it's going to light up these edges now, and these edges are going to become dark. So it's pretty easy, right? Now, if I move the sun anywhere, and then rotate it, wherever I like, I can either rotate it with R or RR. I usually type double R and then trackball rotate it. So if I do it like this, we're going to get like long shadows. Now, we don't see any shadows, but I'm going to show what kind of shadows we get with the sun in a bit. First, I want to show you the color. You can also enable temperature. If it's disabled, then make sure to tick this, and then we can enable the temperature. So I'm going to go here in Blender and then type 3200 so that I'm going to get more yellow, warm look. I'm also going to set the strength to something like 4 for now. It's going to be enough in most cases. And I'm going to leave the exposure on. And for now, I'm going to leave the angle on as well. But now what I want to do is take these cubes and then move them up by 1 meter. So if you remember, if you want to snap it to the grid, snap the object to a grid, you press on G and then you press on Control to move it and snap it in one place. So I'm going to press on G, Z, Control, and then move the cubes up by 0.5 meters. And I'm going to place them over here. Now what I want to do as well is create a plane. So first I want the plane to be exactly underneath the cube. So what I'm going to do is press on Shift C so that I can move the cursor back to the world origin over here. So Shift C, and then the cursor just jumped over here. I'm going to do Shift A, Mesh, Plane, and we create a plane, and this is going to act as a floor. I'm going to press on S and then scale this all the way up. Now watch what happens when I scale up the plane, right? We get these shadows. So if I take the sun and move it, we get different types of shadows. So the longer you stretch the sun, the longer shadows you're going to get. But if I do like a small rotation, I'm going to get smaller shadows and more lighting. This is very good for like the midday high brightness look. But if you're going for more like golden hour sunsetty vibe, then you want to take the sun and then rotate it high like this. And this is going to give very warm golden hour type of look. Actually, photographers wait for the golden hour to happen so they can shoot some photos. But we as 3D artists have the luxury to control the light any type of way we want. So we can rotate the sun anywhere. We can set the HDR the way we want. So yeah, hope you understand how this works. Now, if you want to make the shadows softer, because some people don't like harsh shadows, as you can see, the shadows very, very sharp, you can actually control this angle. Now, if I scroll this down, I'm going to get like super, super sharp shadows. But if I scroll this up, you can see the shadows become a lot softer and nicer. Now, if I go to something like 10, as you can see, the shadows are softer. Now, the reason why this image looks noisy right now is because we don't have denoising turned on. So if I go to here in the render properties, I can go to sampling, go to viewport, and then I have 1024 samples, which is a lot, which is what we don't want. So I'm going to set this to something like 10 because we don't need to have as many samples when we're working in the viewport. And I'm going to explain more about samples when we go to the rendering lectures. But samples, basically, the more samples you have, the better Blender calculates the pixels and the better quality image you have. But in the viewport, we don't need to have a lot of good quality stuff, basically. We need to have good quality in the rendered view. But even in the rendered view, 4000 is a lot, so we don't need 4000. For now, I'm going to set this to something like 50. Now, back here, I'm going to turn on denoising. And if you notice, I don't have any more weird noise. It becomes a lot cleaner. If I disable this, I got a lot of weird noises. If I enable it, the image looks clean. So I'm going to keep it enabled. If you have a weak PC, if you're struggling, then feel free to switch this to Eevee, and then feel free to work in Eevee. As you can see, Eevee is a lot faster than Cycles. But I want to go back to Cycles to show you how different lights work. So that's pretty much it about the sunlight. I'm going to delete the sunlight, and now I'm going to move on to the next slide.